A lot of political response to this, a lot of, I suppose, arguments to and for it. How surprising was this move, and is this a very Machiavelli move by Boris?
Well, Boris Johnson's been talking about doing this for weeks, so it's not that much of a surprise. He obviously squared it off first. He was fairly confident that the constitutional advice given to the Queen would be that she should sign off on this. And his argument, of course, it's only a few extra days on top of some suspensions that were already planned, so it really doesn't matter that much. However, of course, it means that the time for debate is going to be even smaller. It could be interpreted perhaps as quite a successful move by Boris Johnson, because what he's done is he's going to give them about a week at the end of October to decide what he's going to do with Brexit. So Parliament might say, right, so we've got the option of no deal on October 31st, or we've got a sort of deal we don't really like, that Boris Johnson's gone and gotten some language changed in Brussels, and the only option for us at this point is to take that deal, which we don't really like, but the option of no deal Brexit is even worse, so we'll sign off on that. So in fact, we could actually get a deal out of all of this at the last minute.
Yeah, and on that point of actually getting a deal, EU officials have described the move as sinister, but they've said that actually this doesn't necessarily increase the risk of no deal. In some ways, it might lessen the risk of no deal. What have they been saying exactly?
Well, that is what Brussels is saying, is they're hoping perhaps this might squeeze Parliament towards accepting a deal. But the reality is that the European Union is saying we're not going to renegotiate the backstop, and that is still a significant stumbling point. Boris Johnson says the only deal he's going to present to Parliament must include a renegotiation of the backstop or some kind of language around that, perhaps the future agreement, the future terms beyond the initial backstop. So that's also the fundamental question. Will he find something that he in his stomach can present to Parliament and say that's enough of a deal for him to be happy with? That's also a big question.